All right, I just saw Murderbot, the new show that's on Apple Plus, I think. I read the first book, which this season seems to be following. I don't know if they're going to dip into the second book, but right now it's the first book. The Murderbot Diaries is a book series by Martha Wells. It's about a security droid made out of mechanical and cloned organic material that hacks its own governor module and has sentience. And once it's sentient and has free will, it could have murdered a bunch of people and tried to escape, but instead fell in love with basically soap opera long running television that humans make. It's a delightful book and deserves to be adapted. Its internal narration is the highlight of that book series. It's very specific and very distinct. So when they announced it was going to be adapted, one of the challenges of adapting that book is trying to bring that very distinct and kind of zany narration to life. Because that character's so fun and so wry and sarcastic and annoyed, but almost none of that shows in what it actually says. It's all internal. So my assumption was, okay, they're going to have to do narration, and the narration's going to have to be good. They did do narration, and I'm on the fence on how I feel about it. I think it's good. They went in the right direction, because it needs to have a very strong narration to make any of that work. So far, I'm tentatively optimistic. I enjoyed the first two. They're a bit campy and fun and tonally a little different than the book, but I think it works. It followed the plot of the book pretty well. The only strong differences I've seen up to this point is characterization differences that I would need to watch more before forming an opinion on, because they might be going somewhere with those character deviations. I'm open to seeing what they do with it. The decision to make the preservation ox like extra hippie, like they gave off hippie vibes in the book, but very subtly. This is like amped up to 11. It works for what they're trying to do, and I kind of liked that. The over the top quality of it worked for the tone that they're going for. The tone is a little more ridiculous than the book. It's not that much more ridiculous than the book. It's only a little. But it works. It works. They also reorder certain events for the sake of drama. The relationship between Murderbot and people are a lot more tense and adversarial right off the bat, which, they play up for drama, because of course. They also introduced the concept of alien ruins way earlier than the book does. So I see why they did that, because it'll come out of left field if they introduce it later, I think, for a show audience. So I kind of see why they did it. At first, I was like, wow, that's early to be talking about that concept. But, yeah, I kind of see what they're doing. The biggest difference, which I found very interesting, was how they are handling Murderbot's amnesia. Basically, there's this event prior to Murderbot hacking its governor module, and in the book, Murderbot has a vague overview of what happened and is just fuzzy on some of the details. But in the show, Murderbot doesn't really know what happened at all, which means it will discover its past with the audience. I kind of like that order. I think that puts the audience in Murderbot's head during that reveal, and I like that plan. I think that was a good call. I'm not sure what they're gonna go with it. Like I don't know how they intend to reveal it, if it's gonna be different than the way they do it in the book, but I'm open to seeing what they do there. My favorite part, and even if this show turns out to suck, it will still have been worth it for seeing their interpretation of Murderbot's favorite show, The Rise and Fall of Sanctuary Moon. I adore the way the over the top melodramatic highly saturated colors of the way they decided to play that. It is so good, so funny. Because at least in the first book, I don't know if they clarify it in the later books, because I haven't managed to get my hands on the second book yet. They're very vague about what Sanctuary Moon actually is about. It's very clearly a long-running, ridiculous soap opera. It's set in space. So seeing just a glimpse of that, like the interpretation of that, perfection. I loved every minute of that. Every time they switched to it and using it as a way to explain that all Murderbot understands about human interaction comes from watching these shows and trying to imitate that. I love the way that was handled. Best part by far. But yeah, I'm tentatively optimistic. I enjoyed it. The choices they're making for the adaptation are not necessarily bad adaptational choices, and I'm curious to see where they're going. I'm tentatively optimistic, and I look forward to watching the next one. If you want to see my review of that, do subscribe. And if you want to read a different story about the adventures of a sentient murder machine, do check out my book, Bone Song, Diary of a Sentient Sword. The first 10 chapters are free in the link below. Happy reading. Take care.